can we agree about God that God doesn't... Can we agree that God is almighty? He's all powerful. He is the Alpha and the Omega, which means the first and the last. There was no one before him. There will be no one after him. He knows everything. He sees everything, and he hears everything. Would you agree that about God?
You see, the major debate in the 2nd century, in the patristic period, was the deity of Christ. Now, this period...
So you're saying 200 years after Jesus, there was a debate about whether Jesus is God or not?
No, I'm talking about 100 years after, into the 2nd century. It was the discussion about the nature of Christ, because we know Christ to be, when he was on earth, to be human and to be divine. Now, there is many evidences of Jesus having a human nature. For it says in verse 14, the Word became flesh. Now, there are also...
Very complicated. Sorry. For most people, this would be too complicated. What I'm saying to you... Yeah. Sorry. You have to simplify. You see, we're not theologians like yourself, and we don't know this complex thing. But what you're saying is 100 years after Jesus left the earth, there was debate whether he was God or not.
No, I'm saying that they were discussing the human nature of Christ and the divine nature of Christ.
And they weren't sure whether he's God or not?
No, they were just discussing it. Now,
you can only discuss something if you're not sure. If I said to you, is it day or night? Clearly you'd say, yes, it's day. We don't need to have a discussion on it. But 100 years after Jesus left the earth, they were discussing whether Jesus is God or not. That's what you're saying.
So it says in Zechariah 700 BCE by the prophet Zechariah, it says, this is, I will just read it. And I will pour on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication. Then they will look on me whom they pierced. Yes, they will mourn for him as one who mourns for his only son, and grieve for him who grieves of a firstborn. Now that's Jesus Christ.
How is that?
Christ died on the cross. He was pierced, and he said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Jesus Christ is the beginning. Jesus is the beginning and the ending, the beginning and the last. And they who pierced him will see him coming down in glory. Jesus. That's it.
Sorry. It looks like Muslims have won. Sorry. It looks like Muslims have won. You're walking away.
That's Jesus.
You're speaking in tongue?
That's Jesus. That's Jesus. That's Jesus.
Sounds like you're having a fit or something. Sorry, one second. Sorry. It looks like you're having a fit.
That is Jesus.
No. You asked him. You asked him, right, if he can speak in tongues.
So he's speaking in tongues?
Right? Yes, that's what he wants. That's what he wants.
Wait. You asked him if he can speak in tongues.
So he's doing that now.
He said to you,
he can.
When he's in the Holy Spirit, he can speak in tongues.
So is he?
Right? Listen to what I'm saying. When the Holy Spirit touches you, you can't stay still.
Is that what's happening to him?
That's what's happening to him.
But it looks like, to most people, it looks like he couldn't answer the questions.
No, you didn't allow me to speak.
Okay, one second. Daniel, 1 second. Is the Holy Spirit in you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It says in the Bible, when the Holy Spirit is in you, then poison won't affect you. Could you drink some poison? 1 second, Michael. Don't, Daniel, it looks like Muslims have won again. You're a preacher, you're a theologian, you're running away, and even Michael's running away.
I'm not running away.
Okay, you're just walking away.
I'm not running away.
It looks like the Muslims have won.
But what have you won? It wasn't.
Said that's enough.
All right. He said God told him it's enough because you can't answer the questions. But it looks like Muslims have won. He said God told him he's had enough and he should go away.